Had a few people asking me for some updates on the rig, specifically how I was able to stabilize the wheelbase. So I figured I'd throw a quick video together, show you where we're at. There's been quite a few updates since I got the H3. So let's take a look around. We'll check everything out, and then any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so here's basically where we're at. This is the DOF Reality H3. Since I've gotten this, the biggest change that I've made is I just installed this custom 80/20 setup here. We wanted to get my pedals inverted. I got the Protosyntec PT2s, and at the same time I was trying to find a way to stabilize the bass, which had a lot of flex in it. There's still a tiny bit, but you can see there's not much at all now. I mean, it's pretty stable. It was a little bit, but at that point, you know, I'm not really worried about it compared to how it is before this was added. It's a huge improvement. So what I basically did for that was I took a piece, and there is a bracket. I don't know if you can see that underneath right here. There's a bracket. There it is. And this is bolted up into, obviously, this is the main support beam. It's resting on the footrest right there. From there, I just ran some longer bolts through the DOF bars themselves, and this helps stabilize it forward, back. You know, everything's bolted in, obviously, at the corners. It's the same thing over here, just some longer bolts. You guys see what's going on. And then for the pedals, I simply just built a little triangle on the back end. It allowed me to have quite a bit of adjustability on the pedals. I can move this, you know, up or down, forward, backward. So this little mount right here, the only other thing that I did that really helped was I added one extra bar coming off this side, and it ties into a little bolt on the side of the seat. So again, it just creating one extra triangle in the other direction really helps stabilize the wheelbase from moving. At the top of it, I put a piece of 80/20 across, and then two small pieces that tie into the 80/20 and both of the DOF bars. I got rid of that thin little plate. It was doing no good, and these 80/20 pieces right here completely replace that. So once that's bolted in, then you have full adjustability as well with the wheel forward, backward. So for me, I think it was about $200 to do this little custom rig, but well worth it as far as stability, and again, just for the pedals, which, you know, for me, I love the inverted setup. So other than that, like I said, we got the PT2s. I ran a bunch of pucks, bass shakers, and things like that. So I have one mounted to the back of the brake pedal, one to the back of the throttle pedal. I have 4 inside the seat, front and back on both sides, and then there are 2 behind as well, which are great for engine vibration, gear shifts, and things like that. I got the Simplicity SW12 direct drive wheel, the Sam Maxwell wheelbase or wheel, some DSD button boxes on both sides. We got the triples, which aren't used because we got the Pimax up there. That's where I spent all my time. Microphone, we got the Fanatec shifter, and I just added this 5 tracker. So I've been working on some motion cancellation, which in the beginning I didn't think was that important, but it's working really well now, and it actually does make a huge difference. So all I did was I got some anti-vibration pads, and this is the original bar that comes with the DOF H3. How they wanted the tracker mounted, you can't have monitors at all. So I took the bar, put a vibration pad in front of it, one up top, and then, you know, used some pretty thick zip ties and secured it as stable as could be. Mounted the tracker, and I just keep it wired in all the time, so I don't have to worry about battery on it or anything. And it seems to work really well. I don't know. Oh, the only other thing that we've done is I've taken the shocks off. I am not a fan of the dampers that ended up buying through this rig. I think they slow it down and they create too much heat inside the motors. It does look like they've updated the ones they're sending out, so maybe they're a nicer damper, but I received the all black ones, you can see them back there, and I wouldn't recommend putting those on the rig. So Paul from the Discord talked about these little O-rings. You can see right here, you see 17 millimeter O-rings. We've installed one on each side of the tie rod, both top and bottom. You can see it's on all four. And I didn't quite understand it at first, but it actually does, it helps secure the tie rod. It minimizes, how much twisting you get. And it does make the rig feel a little more solid when you're driving, when it's moving around. So for me, those dampers or O-rings are a great addition, and it costs just a few dollars. And the only other thing that I might do at this point is I know a lot of guys are moving dampers on the traction loss. So I gotta get a bracket and try the damper out back there. Other than that though, I think that pretty much covers it. Again, I know the big part was just securing these two bars right here. So again, you can see it's just bolted, into these two uprights, which is bolted to the cross beam at the bottom, which is bolted underneath. This is just, believe it or not, a door handle I found on Amazon. And then I used some spacers, or I think I cut a piece of metal even maybe. There's a piece of metal cut and taped to that just to pick up the added thickness I needed to fit that. And then it's all just 15 series aluminum, I think it is. So I think if you guys can replicate this, or any way you can create a bit of a triangle going forward or backward, I think really makes a huge difference. I know DOF sells a bar that mounts under here and then contacts down this point. I didn't want anything in the middle of the rig in between my legs, so this is what I came up with. And like I said, it's dual purpose, fits the inverted pedals, stabilizes the rig, and honestly feels really, really good right now. So again, that's pretty much everything that we got going on. I think that'll cover it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to shout out.